You know, the other day I was making some of my famous chili. I did a recipe, a video recipe about making 4-can chili. It's basically using 4 cans of food and putting it together in a pot and adding a few spices if you want and making chili. So, I was making something similar and I realized, you know, that's kind of how I cook. I have recipe books, cookbooks. I have this wonderful old Betty Crocker picture cookbook. I love it. It has the neat old, you know, drawings and pictures in black and white of these high caloric foods that are delicious. Cream puffs. We used to make these when I was a kid. They're delicious. So I have used cookbooks like this, and then when I became, this old one, I picked up at a yard sale or a thrift store probably, and it's missing its spine, but you know, a lot of us are spineless, and it's okay. But it's intact, you know, so it's in really good shape, I think. And it is from 1950. It's even older than I am. So when I became a young adult, I bought this one. It was an updated Betty Crocker cookbook, and it is the new and revised edition. And I bet this is from like 1980. Let me look. 1978. Yeah. So it's newer, but I've used both of them. And this one did not hold up as well. Look, the front cover and the back cover fell off. It's spiral bound, so the pages are intact, but I have used this thing to death. I rarely use a cookbook anymore. If I want to make muffins or something, if I'm gonna bake something, I do follow a recipe, because generally baking has to be more precise than cooking. You know, just throwing things in a pot on top of the stove, that's easy peasy. But if you're going to bake bread or cake or cookies, anything like that, following a recipe is a good idea. But in this video, I'm gonna bake something and substitute some ingredients because I didn't have everything. And I've baked and cooked enough to know sort of what's gonna work and what won't. And what I baked came out delicious. So I'm going to share 3 different recipes with you that aren't really recipes, but I'll give you an idea of what I did, and you can change it to fit your liking. That's the joy of cooking and baking. You can just change it. You know, if something calls for raisins in a recipe, I never put them in. I don't like raisins cooked. They get all puffy and ugh, the texture is just gross to me. Some people love them. I don't. I can eat raisins plain when they're dried and they're in with nuts and chocolate chips, you know, kind of a gorp, good old raisins and peanuts type thing. But I don't put raisins in anything. I think they're disgusting when they're cooked. And again, you may love them, and that's okay. Just don't give me a piece of whatever it is you put raisins in. I will politely decline. So here are the 3 recipes I came up with recently that I realized as I was making them, you know, I'm just winging this. And that's okay. I'm going to make some salsa, and I thought I'd just do a quick video. I've cut up 2 Roma tomatoes. Just gonna put them here in my food processor. And I have some red bell pepper. And then I have some jalapeno pepper. And I am going to scrape that in. I don't like to touch it. I've been holding it with this paper towel because I don't want to burn my eyes. If I happen to rub my eyes, it would hurt. And I'm going to add a few of these dried chopped onions. I don't have any raw onions, so I'm just going to sprinkle in a little bit. about that much. I'm going to put in some salt and pepper. And a little bit of olive oil. Just drizzle it in there. Not too much. And just a little bit of vinegar. You can use whatever kind you like, or leave it out. I like it, gives it a nice tang. So I'm just going to mix this up. And there it is. It's just that easy. I have a tortilla chip. I'm just going to dip it in there. It's delicious. I usually make soup once every couple weeks, and I have a pot going here. I just put in some oil in the bottom of this pan, sprinkled some of my dried onion flakes in there and some spices, and I just used some celery seed, salt and pepper. I don't know. I grabbed a few things that sounded good. And I just kind of browned it in the oil. Then I added some water. I chopped up some red and yellow bell pepper. Cut it up, put it in there. I have a bay leaf right there, just to give it some good flavor. I won't eat it. I'm going to take that out when it's done cooking, of course. And then I have some quick cooking pearled barley, and it looks kind of like oats. See it? Looks a lot like oats, but it plumps up and makes these little, I don't know, grains. Like right there they are. So I'm just going to pour this in and give it a stir. And I will add some mixed vegetables, some frozen mixed vegetables, right at the end, because they don't need to cook that long. But this cooks about 10 minutes, the barley. So it really doesn't take long at all. And it's kind of been substitute for pasta or potatoes or whatever kind of starch you would use. So I'm just making a pot of soup for my lunches. I'm going to add in about half a bag, I've already added some in, of these mixed vegetables. They're frozen and they cook really quickly, and they're really nice. They keep their bright color and are very tasty. So here's my soup. It is done. I'm going to have a bowl with some cheese and crackers for lunch. And barley is kind of a neutral grain. It sort of absorbs whatever flavors you cook it in. I just made a blueberry chocolate chip coffee cake using Krusty's Light and Fluffy Buttermilk pancake mix and some yogurt, blueberry yogurt. I didn't have milk or eggs, but I looked at the ingredients in the pancake mix, and it had buttermilk in there and sugar and flour, baking powder. So I figured that's good to go. And I just went ahead and used the same measurements as the recipe called for to make muffins, but I put it in a little pan instead. Aren't they delicious looking? And it smells so good. So I figure no eggs, no big deal. The yogurt took the place of milk as well as the buttermilk in the pancake mix. And I will try it and let you know if it's edible. It smells really good. I'm pretty sure it's going to be just fine. Here is my coffee cake. It looks really good. I'm going to take a quick bite, see how it goes. It's really good. I think the yogurt made it really moist. So how about you? Do you just wing it when you're cooking and sometimes baking like I did in these 3 recipes? It's easier. For me, it's just so much easier than following a recipe to the letter. I taste things as I'm cooking, always with a clean spoon, even though it's just me eating it. I just don't want to put my slobbers back in there. So if it needs something, I add it. It's fine. And I am not that picky. That helps a lot. The chili is super easy. Be sure to check out the video I did on 4-can chili if you want to. The blueberry coffee cake, that was wonderful. So I actually wrote down the recipe, you know, and I'm sharing it here with you because I want to try that again. It turned out so moist and delicious. I had to quickly cut a bunch of pieces and freeze at least half of it so that I wouldn't just gobble it up. I only have 1 more piece left as of the time I'm making this video, and I may just eat it later today. We'll see. But it's so easy. Let me know if you make up your own recipes too, because it's fun. Sometimes it comes out great, and sometimes it's just okay. And, you know, it's okay with me if that happens. Because, like I said, I'm not that picky, and I will eat just about whatever, unless it's just totally gross, and then I don't. But I don't put ingredients together that are gross. I use things I like, so they generally come out just fine. So let me know in the comments if you ever come up with your own recipes, and, you know, if you're going to try any of these recipes. I'd love to hear about it. And I will see you next time.